מזמור לדוד. אדוני רואי לא אחסר, בינות אשר ירביצני, על מי מנוחות ינחלני. נפשי ישובב, ינחני ומגלה צדק למען שמו. גם כי הלך בגיא צל מוות, לא אירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי. תשענת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדיפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. I've chanted for you the words of our 23rd Psalm. On days when we feel in search of solace and peace and consolation, we often turn to the psalmist. And so I ask you now to recite these words with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall comfort me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember her. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we will remember her. In the opening buds and in the rebirth of spring, we will remember her. In the blueness of sky and in the warmth of summer, we will remember her. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember her. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we will remember her. And when we are lost and sick at heart, we will remember her. When we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember her. So long as we live, she too will live, for she is now a part of us, as we remember Shirley Louise Glaser. To her children, Carol, Debbie, Barbara, also to Shelley and Ron, and to her grandchildren, Bill, Bob, Julie, Leah, Jamie, Betsy, Lauren, Danny, and also to Amy, Mo, Mike, and Brian, and to her great-grandchildren, Asher, Micah, Naomi, Penina, Jake, and Sam. To all the members of the family, to so many cherished friends, we've gathered together today to remember, but also to celebrate the life of your beloved Shirley. Our sages have taught us that birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey. From childhood to maturity, from youth to age. from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or strength to weakness and often back again, from health to sickness and back we pray to health again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love and from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backward or ahead we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage to life everlasting. Shirley's journey began in Cleveland in 1926. She was the only child born to William and Edith Portman. And while the times that she was born into were trying, and the challenges facing our country at this time were most difficult, Shirley tried her best to live a happy and fulfilling life. Growing up, she made friends easily, and so many of her childhood friendships not just from her high school years, but from the time she was a very little girl. These friendships carried through her adult years. As a youngster, she enjoyed roller skating and ice skating. She attended and graduated from John Hay High School. And we know that some areas of Shirley's childhood and teen years were difficult from time to time. But it's because of this that she learned to be strong and independent. One of the most significant moments of her high school years was when, through mutual friends, we believe, Shirley was introduced to Jack Glaser, a young man who was 7 years her senior. Shirley and Jack courted, and love blossomed. And following Shirley's high school graduation, they went on to marry in December of 1944. They began their lives as husband and wife by moving out west to Walla Walla, Washington, where Jack was stationed in the United States Army. The Army had trained him to work as a dental technician. For Shirley and Jack, the time spent out in Walla Walla was a very special time that where they were both far away from their families, and time before they started their own family. At the close of World War II, the couple returned home to Cleveland to begin that new chapter in their lives, and that was the beginning of their own family. First Carol, and then Debbie, and then Barbara entered into the world, completing the Glaser family portrait. When I was talking with their daughters, they noted how much their parents truly enjoyed family and truly enjoyed their friends. This was their life. They had a couples club they belonged to. There were about 8 couples. They'd gather together to play canasta, poker, mahjong. And as they all grew older, and when their children grew older, the same group of couples would meet up in Florida, as Shirley and Jack eventually became snowbirds, spending half the year there as well. And together they enjoyed skating, but they really enjoyed making a beautiful home, a beautiful place for their daughters in Lyndhurst on North Barton Road, or as their daughters would call it, the house that Jack built. Now, I wasn't there, but I can imagine, as I sat in person with Carol and Barbara and also got to speak with you, Debbie, on the phone a little bit, but your father worked hard all day long. He was a hard-working man, worked with his hands, had an amazing work ethic, and then he'd come home and he'd work all night long. Sometimes your mom wasn't too pleased about this, but he almost completely added on a second floor to this house, and every night dedicated himself to making the home more and more beautiful. And while your father was dedicated to the home in this way, your mother too was dedicated to the home by opening her doors to everyone. Everyone was welcome in that house. She was a warm hostess and a wonderful cook, and I'm told that a lot of the family recipes have been passed down now through the generations. She loved to have family and friends over to celebrate birthdays, Holidays, her famous 4th of July picnics, Thanksgiving and Hanukkah were especially memorable. Halloween was a special time. And this was a home that seemed to always be filled not just with family and friends, with love and laughter, but also with music. 2 of the girls playing duets on the piano, Jack on his harmonica. Shirley set a beautiful table and just loved to have people over to share. Her daughters described their mother to me as a woman who was classy. She loved nice things. She loved nice clothes, and she loved to shop. It seems that Shirley was a genius, though, at bargain shopping. Yard sales and garage sales were her forte. She had an eye to pick out something that was such a gem, and she could always get the best bargain for it as well. She also had an artistic eye. She had the collection of beautiful works by Erte and Icart. And it seems to me that she had a wonderful sense of humor as well. She enjoyed a good laugh. And Carol, you remember your mom's laugh. This is something that will always be in your mind, in your memory, in your heart. She'd laugh so hard that she'd begin to wheeze. And this, of course, made you and her laugh even more. She was also described to me as a woman who was considerate, kind, and thoughtful. And if Shirley was your friend, you were a very lucky person. Her girlfriends were more like sisters to her. She was a trustworthy friend. Debbie, you remembered that your family growing up belonged to the Temple on the Heights, just around the corner from here. And you remarked that while your mom did not come from such a religious upbringing, your father's upbringing was a very, very deeply seated, rooted, conservative upbringing. And it was important to your mom to keep this alive for your father, but also for the 3 of you girls. It really meant so much to her that you attended religious school, that you all were confirmed. And Debbie, you noted that she tried her best to make sure that all the Jewish holidays were very special and that everyone was there for them as well. When Carol and Debbie and Barbara were grown, Shirley returned to classes. She went to school and took courses in medical transcription, and then she went to work at Suburban Hospital in the anesthesia billing department. And she loved dogs, especially Chihuahuas. Later, when you see Carol, she'll tell you how to pronounce Chihuahua the correct way. But she was happiest, as we all know, when she was surrounded by you, her family, and especially her grandchildren. And what a joy that she lived to see 6 grandchildren. The grandchildren were special, and the grandchildren's birthdays were even more special. I'm told that when each grandchild turned 10, there was a special trip where you would meet up with your grandparents, either in Florida or Ohio. If you were the grandchildren living outside of Ohio, you'd usually come to Ohio. And your grandparents would do all kinds of special things with you, and the end of these special birthday trips would always include a beautiful photo album with memories of this trip. Her grandchildren, I hope you all know how much she loved you and how deeply proud of you she always was. We also know that with the joy, with the children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, all the sunshine and blessings that were brought into her life, we know that Shirley also endured much physical pain. And sadly, this started when she was a young woman in her 30s. But she always forged through. I think one of the daughters said she soldiered on. 2 knee replacements, 2 hip replacements. But she just kept going. And she was quite a trooper as she fought her way through it. Shirley and Jack remained in their beautiful home in Lyndhurst for most of their marriage. And his passing in 2007, after 63 years of marriage, his passing, of course, left a tremendous void. In 2014, Shirley moved to Boston, where she lived just 1 mile away from Barbara and Ron. And it was there that she spent her last years and her last days, surrounded by family and surrounded in love and surrounded with the comfort of knowing that her last days were lived with dignity and with peace. We know that words which come from our heart enter directly to the heart. There are a couple members of the family today who have words from their heart that they want to share with all of us. And so first I'm going to ask her daughter, Barbara, to join me here as she has words to share with us.
Okay, I'm going to try to do this. I brought sunglasses just in case. So there are people here today that I haven't seen in years, but have been a part of our family's life for decades and have shared our family in so many ways. It means so much to me that I'm getting to see some of those faces today. As you know, I moved Mom up to Boston October of 2014 to be closer to me, and I feel very lucky to have had that time with her. They were not easy years. She endured a lot of pain, especially at the end. I really learned just how determined and strong a woman she was. She was a true survivor and really fought to the very end. She eventually lost her ability to speak about a year ago, which was really heartbreaking. But her eyes said so much, and you could tell that she was really hearing you and that she understood plenty, even though people didn't necessarily think that she did. I always got a big smile when I arrived, and she always seemed to know that it was me. One of my fondest memories was a night when I was lying next to her in bed, holding her hand and putting my thumb over hers, and then she put her thumb over mine, and soon it became a little short game of thumb war. And we both laughed, and it was one of those moments that I'll always hold close to my heart, just a small little moment, but something that I always have. She chose a time to die when I had my whole family in one place at the same time, which really doesn't happen very often. Danny was visiting from Panama, Lauren was off for summer vacation, and they got to see their grandma one last time and give her a hug and a kiss. Before she died, she had the opportunity, Before she died, she had the opportunity to hear the voices of the people she loved by phone. And I think that also allowed her to go more peacefully, because Mom was always happiest when the whole family managed to be together in one place at the same time. And with the advent of live streaming, her granddaughter Betsy is in California, hopefully listening, and her grandson Bob in Israel and his wife Amy are hopefully watching. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Bob. Even though my mom couldn't communicate, I knew even the day before she died, by the way she looked at me, that she knew who I was and that I was there with her and that I loved her very much. Not everyone gets to be that lucky, but I was, and I'm going to be always forever grateful for that she knew me and she knew that I was there with her. I told my mom several times over this past weekend before she went that she was loved and that it was okay for her to go. I told her that Granny and Dad and most of her friends were waiting for her. At one point, I actually wondered if she thought I was pressuring her to go. I backed off and told her it was okay to stay as long as she wanted to, but it was okay to go whenever she was ready. And she did, quietly and peacefully in the wee hours of Sunday morning. And just like Mom always did, she went on her own terms, in her own time, and when she was ready. And I'm really going to miss her.
I would also like to call on Shirley's grandson, Bill.
Hi, I don't have anything formally prepared, but I just wanted to take a minute, and Grandma and I were, give me a second, we were very close, and I just wanted to just say thank you. Thank you for just everything you did for me, just all the It's all the little things. She's the only person on earth who could actually enjoyed getting clothes from. And they always fit perfect. Just all the little things, little toys and little outings. She used to take me, just take me places, and she was really wonderful, wonderful grandma. So I just want to say thank you, Grandma, for being so wonderful, and I love you, and I will always love you. Thank you.
When I come to the end of the road and the sun has set for me, I want no rights in a gloom-filled room. Why cry for a soul set free? Miss me a little, but not too long, and not with your head bowed low. Remember the love that we once shared. Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey we all must take, and each must go alone. It's all a part of the Master's plan, a step on the road to home. When you are lonely and sick at heart, go to the friends we knew, and bury your sorrows in doing good deeds. Miss me, but let me go. As you're able, I invite you to rise now for the El Malei Rachamim, the memorial prayer. El Malei Rachamim, shochen במרומים, המשימנו חנוכנה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כי זו הרקיע מסעירים, את נשמת שרה לאה, בת ויליאם ואידית, שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן, תהא מנוחתה. אנא ברחמים אסתירהו, בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, ותטרוד בתרור החיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר Amen. O merciful God, who dwells on high, who is full of compassion, grant perfect rest beneath the shelter of your divine presence among the holy and pure who shine as the brightness of the firmament. To our dear departed, Shirley Louise Glaser, who has gone now to her eternal home, may her soul be bound up in the bonds of eternal life, and grant that her memory inspire all of us to noble and consecrated living. And to this we say, Amen. Friends, our service will continue at the Mount Olive Cemetery. Following the interment, the family will receive friends at the residence of Jamie and Brian Spencer. The address is 8639 Lake in the Woods Trail. That's, again, 8639 Lake in the Woods Trail in Chagrin Falls. Visitation will be tonight until 8 p.m. Those of you who are going to the cemetery, the family would like me to share with you that if you would just give them a little bit of time from the end of our interment, perhaps 30 or 40 minutes until they get to the house. They have another piece of business to take care of, but they will meet you at the house approximately 30 to 40 minutes following the interment ceremony. Also, in lieu of flowers, the family has suggested that if you wish to make a donation in memory of Shirley, that you consider either the Hospice of the Good Shepherd at the Good Shepherd Community Care Center in Newton, Massachusetts, or, of course, a charity of your choice. On behalf of the entire family, we thank you for your love and support on this day.